Okay, let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh boy, how are we doing on this fine? What is it? It's Tuesday. It's 45 degrees and windy. Now, look, this is pushing it now. Normally, October around here, it's nice and fall weather, but we get days 62, 68, and lows in the upper 40s. And it's been cold. It's cold. I'm going to have to turn the heat on soon. How are we doing? All right, Colin. Good to see you. Tarasov said net tonight. Paul Marie said Sabrango could play this weekend. That's interesting. That's exactly what I said he's doing. He listens to what I suggest and he does the opposite. No wonder he has 2 cups. So I guess Bobrovsky's going to get a whole week off. He played Saturday. He's not going to play again until Saturday. All right, Paul, do it your way. Do it your way, man. Colin, how we doing, buddy? Jameson, good morning. Yeah, lots of interesting storylines tonight against our expansion cousins. I guess is Gudis still hurt? Is Gudis still hurt? Yeah, no joke, Craig. Really testing the depth this season. That's good. That's okay. We're going to need it. We're going to need it throughout the season because, Marchand is not young. I'm sure he'll get dinged at some point. You want to give him the time off. And Lord knows, wouldn't mind giving Bennett some time off. Ekblad has his annual thing. Hey, Hungry, happy game day. I got a video once at 1:30. I got a video scheduled to come out talking about some stuff. So I'll look forward to that. Hey, Ryan Reed, quack, quack, quack. Yeah, hey, Ryan, how's it going, buddy? Huh? How are we doing these days? So, didn't have much in the way of games yesterday. We had a few. 2. So the Penguins beat the crap out of the Blues 6-3. And the Senators, what did I say yesterday? I said the Senators, if they win their game, they leapfrog everybody. And sure enough, there's Ottawa in third place this morning, all alone in third place. So it's Canadians 14, Wings 12, Senators 11, Panthers 10, Sabres 9. The Leafs at 9. The Lightning and Bruins bring it up at 8. So it's an abomination. It's ridiculously close. And, all it's going to take is Montreal to have like a not so great week and everything's going to be up in the air. So over in the Metro, things are pretty much the way they've been. But the Penguins, the Panthers need to win third place. So all I'm saying is Panthers need third place because Capitals, they already got 12 points and they're in a wild card spot. I think the Penguins might be real. If they're real, because you pretty much can not guarantee, but you pretty much know Devils, Hurricanes are making it, probably the Capitals. And if the Penguins are good, that's one of the wild card spots out of those 4 teams. And so when you come over back to the Atlantic, Panthers better get that third spot. I don't know necessarily we want to be putzing around, begging and pleading for points. And what's the difference before I come back to the chat? What's the difference? Senators are ahead of us by the 1 point because they got one of their losses to overtime. You see what I mean? Okay, Kenneth. Thoughts to everyone who has a family in Jamaica. My neighbor is there. It's going to be rough for a few days. We are with you and hope everyone is safe. No, I'll be honest. Donna told me about that yesterday, but I haven't. You guys know I try not to pay too much attention to the world at large because my brain only functions some of the time. And if I go focusing on anything other than what my job is, it gets really bad. But I guess they're getting pretty nailed with a hurricane there. Hey, scientists, all 32 teams play today. All right. That'll give me some content for tomorrow, I'm sure. Ryan, oh, you're doing good. You're doing super in football. That's what matters. There you go, buddy. Simon says it's game day. Do I think the Panthers are going to do, in my opinion? I think I'm almost ready for an overtime game, to be honest with you. I'm ready to bring out the Matthias. We are going to overtime. Craig says the Sens without Brady have been good. Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight for these playoff spots in the East. That's right, Hungry. We didn't get too much hockey last night, but we got 2 World Series games in one night. How about that? I'll have to find some highlights that are a little bit better. I watched the ESPN highlights. It was 3 minutes long, and I'm sure in an 18-inning game, it was more than 3 minutes of highlights. But it looked like the comments said both teams played excellent. Hey, Kyle. Kyle, did you stay up for that?
Yeah, I did.
You stayed up for that? For the World Series game?
Oh, yeah, I think I started watching around.
Here, open the door. Open the door.
I think I had started watching around the 10 for 11 inning.
Right.
Yeah, I stayed up. And
okay, so when I went to bed, because I remember when I started outside, you said it was just like the second inning or something.
Oh,
no, that was after the football game. That was the previous day. Yeah.
That game lasted for 6 hours and 40 minutes.
So what time did you get to bed? Which is your normal time anyway. What time did it end?
It ended just close to 3 a.m.
Holy crap. Wow. All right, yeah, go ahead, take your shower. I just was curious if you saw the whole thing.
Yeah, I saw it was nuts.
Yeah. I'll have to teach you how to create a stream so that if you want to, you could just sit there at 2:00 and wake everybody up with a notification that you're streaming the end of the World Series game.
There were 438 pitches thrown by 13 pitchers.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's 2 games worth. That's more than 2 games worth. Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, kiddo. Ryan says the Lightning probably lose to the Mammoth. They've been doing a little bit better. Hey, Pente, how you doing, buddy? Rhino's getting a little bit better. Reinhardt looks a little bit better each game. His first couple games, he didn't have a ton of energy. But I think as season goes on, he's starting to look like his normal self. Pente says the Leafs ain't the same without Marner. What a treat, right? Jameson, you watched 7 hours of baseball last night. Jeez. Hey, Omega Fish. Yeah, there are some surprise teams. That's for sure. Ryan, yeah, I mean everything is right there. He says if the Lightning beat the Preds, depending on what the Panthers do, right? If everybody plays tonight, the Panthers could wake up. Theoretically, the Panthers could wake up in last place. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying we could wake up in last place tomorrow morning. We could also wake up in second place or last place. That's all. No big deal. I know it's early, but good grief. This is going to be a mess. Hold on a second. Here we go. Science says, who looks worse, Bennett this season or Verhaeghe last season? Oh, I think Bennett, because Verhaeghe kind of we only expect him to score. But with Bennett, I think we expect more out of him in multiple different ways. Vincent says, am I talking about comets in space? What did I say? You see what I mean? I already don't remember what I said. I think we were talking about baseball. Real says 6 starters out. Can we please not go crazy if we lose? This is a good point. Really? Yeah, that's right. Because now with Gadget, good Lord, that's almost half the team, right? It's more than a third of the team. Kenneth says any losing streak in the Atlantic and the team could find themselves in 8th one morning. Yeah, I mean, it just is. Who does Boston play tonight? So the Flames play the Leafs. The Penguins play the Flyers. Knights play the Hurricanes. Jackets, Sabres. Ducks, Panthers, Islanders, Bruins, Lightning, Preds, Jets, Wild, Wings, Blues, Capitals, Stars, Senators, and Blackhawks. That's going to be a good game. Devils and Avalanche. That's going to be a good game. Mammoth and Oilers. Boy, there's some good games. Rangers, Canucks, for those of you who'd like to abuse yourself and stay up late. Canadians and Kraken, very late. And the Kings and Sharks start at 11 o'clock. Good Lord. Good grief. Hey, Jameson says, JT Miller returns to Vancouver tonight. Probably mixed reactions. He's number 12 all time on the franchise scoring list. Huh. Penta, yeah, Utah. I got a video coming out after the stream is over, and Utah is actually a part of that. Penta, yeah, Bennett this season. I agree. Joyful Sabres fan. I'm gonna watch the Sabres versus Columbus today, where Buffalo is. Everybody's right there. Buffalo is a 9 with 9 points, right? Buffalo could wake up in third place. It's an abomination. It's early though, but there's nobody out. That's for sure. Vincent says, I'm so dramatic in the middle of the day. How did this start? I don't know. How did what start? What are we talking about? Honestly, we were talking about baseball. This is not, this is the middle of the day for you. I don't know what you consider it for me. Donna has to be at work at 4:30, so we're up at like 3:45. So this is like the end of the first day. See, I work 2 days. I work 2 days every day. I work all morning and then I work all night. Yeah. So I guess this is the end of my first day. Bruins got the Isles. Yep. That's right, Ryan. Yeah, we'll be doing the Dolphin game on Thursday. Yeah. Real says, I hope the Oilers won't be too mad if they lose to Utah. They're used to losing to Nate Schmidt and Kevin Stenlin. Kenneth says, Kings and Sharks staying up late to watch the World Series. Yeah, so 11 o'clock. Why not? Yeah, they don't play again today, the World Series, do they? Hungary says, Oilers Twitter is trying to excuse their slow start by saying that no other team has played as many games as them. Basic math is difficult, apparently. So, I'd like to let them know about this other team. They might have heard about them. The other team that shall not go in. They actually have made it to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals and have the record now for most games played by any NHL team in 3 years. Now, of course, we've been known to have some slow starts here the last couple of years. But okay, Edmonton, they'll be fine, right? They do this every year. I got schmutz on my glasses. Edmonton does this every year. For the most, well, was it the year before? The first year we beat them, they started off awful. I forget how they started yesterday. Vincent says, Jaws prepping to jump the ship and join the Mammoth in November. You know, if I made a faceless hockey channel that was around the Mammoth, and then I just used one of my voices that nobody's heard before, would you know it was me? Probably because of the crappy editing and thumbnails. Sherry, yeah, the Sens are starting to wake up. 14 goals in the last 2 games. No doubt. Simon, yeah, that's 18 innings is crazy. Ruthless Sharky says, I want to beat the Kings. Then we beat 3-5 and got some momentum. Schmidt, that's right. And Vanacek, too. That's right, Vincent. Yeah. Baseball tonight and tomorrow. Wow. Hey, Ghost Slayer. I appreciate that. Mike says Florida is the team that shall not be named in Edmonton. Yeah, exactly, Mike. That's exactly right. Real Cinema's got a good point. Try 3 finals runs, Oilers fans. You don't get to complain until you survive a 4 overtime game. Oh, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing some of those this year. They've had bad early runs the last 2 years, right? And look, it kind of cost them in the first one, right? They had expended so much energy just getting in. And we know about that around here, don't we? That's what happened to us against Vegas. Sherry says, I want baseball done so I can watch my Sens games. So what is it? Is it 2-1 Dodgers now? Is that where we're at now? 2-1 Dodgers? 18 innings. Good grief. When back in the day, long time ago, when I was in the Air Force, and you still had long distance charges when you had to make a long distance phone call. I was in Alaska. My brother was overseas, and we decided about the 7th inning of a Marlins Cubs game to pick up the phone. He called me, and we said we'd stay on the phone for the last couple innings of the game. 17 innings. 17 innings. And once we got to about the 11th, I was like, do you want to get off? This is going to cost you an arm and a leg. He's like, we're already in it. We're in it now. And so it was a 4-figure phone call. I didn't feel bad, though. He called me. Now, if I'd have called him, my cheap ass would have been like, look, bro, we ain't doing extra innings. But, yeah. Hungry, you were at that game? Wow. Yep. It just kept going on and on and on. Mike says, beginning of the season is nothing but fresh teams and players who have been off since April and May getting glazed like they're God's gift to hockey. Hey, Universal Habs, we can handle Kraken. A lot of players for the Habs want to score tonight. Kraken, I think, is playing a little bit above their board right now, I suspect, but we'll see how it goes. That's one of the teams that I talked about in the video today. I talked a little bit about some of the surprise teams and their goaltending. Vincent says, did I put any money on that game to pay for a phone? Well, you're talking 1990? No, couldn't have been 90. No, that's not where it was. I wasn't in Alaska then. When was it? Hold on a second. When the hell was that? I must not have been in the Air Force at this point because the Marlins weren't a thing at that point. Now I have to find out when the game was, and I'll remember where the hell I was living. 2018? No, it couldn't have been that game. Maybe it wasn't. Man, I can't remember. I'm living a Mandela effect right now in front of you. I'll have to ask my brother. What the hell? I'm going to text Tim. I'm doing a live stream, and I can't remember what game it was where you paid for the long distance charges, and it was the 17-inning game, ? He'll know. He paid the bill. He'll know. No, it wasn't that game. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to. Hungry says it was late 90s, early thousands. That might be right. I must not have been in the Air Force. I Googled it, and they're talking about the 17-inning game in 2018, but that's not the one. Was there one in the 90s? (2002) This is it. Yeah. Florida Marlins versus Chicago Cubs. Florida Marlins beat Chicago Cubs 2-0. No, that's September 17th. No. He'll know. He'll remember it. My brain, either I'm being Mandela affected or my brain is just really, really, really in rough shape. It wasn't the 2018 one. I don't think so. It was way earlier than that. Hey, Reapers, Devils. Says, do I think the Devils can be a competitive team in the East? I do. I do. I don't know, especially, we won't know what the Panthers are going to look like if Barkov comes back into the playoffs. And absent that, I think it's pretty damn wide open in the East. Vincent. Oh, my God. Silva says, what the hell is going on with our lineup? Everyone's injured. I know. Kenneth says his brother's going to gaslight him now. Said, I never called you. Son of a bitch. He's probably looking it up. Hungry says they had a couple of long double-digit inning games that they had. I wonder if it was just the Cubs game. Because we were Cubs fans before the Marlins came into existence. So I wonder if it was just a Cubs game, because I really thought the phone call was while I was in my dorm room in the Air Force. I really thought that that's where I was. But, the brain gets foggy. Mike says a hot start can be easily wrecked with a crappy run through January, February. Actual contenders emerge after the deadline, right before the playoffs start. Mike, you'll like the video I got scheduled to come out at 1:30. Hey, Deadly Flame says, yeah, well, good job, Calgary. I didn't see them scoring 5 against the Rangers. It'll eventually even out, right? Hey, Bill. Scientist says, how far into the season would I say differentiates team hot start versus actual contenders? Probably Thanksgiving. Maybe Thanksgiving, right? What's that going to be? 20, 25 games-ish, right? Let's see. We played 10. Yeah, so maybe about 20 games, about Thanksgiving. Like the Penguins. Is it a hot start or are they for real? Simon says, so what are some of your opinions about the standings so far? It's wild, Simon. But it's good. It's good. You got teams that were expected to be in the playoff race in last place all over the place, right? The Flames, the Blues, the Wild are right down there. You got the Lightning tied for last place. I know the Rangers, some people thought they might be able to make it. And it's not like they're out. They got 8 points. It's so close right now. But the Penguins are really who's surprising me. They really look good. Scientist says, like if the Mammoth are still on top of the standings by December, would I say that they could be a contender? Well, there's different levels to it, right? There's playoff contender and then there's cup contender. Zero says Crosby and Malkin have more points than any other pair this season. Huh. Ain't that something? I guess, maybe they got sick and tired of being in all the trade rumors. You know what I mean? These are proud guys. They want to stay with their team. Maybe they just got pissed off to the point where they got sick and tired of, Crosby to Florida, Crosby to New York. Who's going to get Malkin? Maybe they just got irritated into, upping their game. And, of course, it's not just them, but goaltending's been good. But it could have. I don't know that I would necessarily put the Penguins as a cup contender, but they could they could piss some people off in the playoffs. You know, they have enough experience there. And if Jari is going to do the thing where he plays out of his mind, I mean, we've seen him. The Panthers saw him. He was playing out of his mind. No other way to put it. So nobody's running away with anything right now. Let me see who the points leaders are. So right now, is that right? That's funny. So Nick Schmaltz is leading with 16 points. And what's interesting about that is that when I was looking at free agent forwards, when Barkov first got hurt, and I was looking at guys that maybe we could possibly pick up if he wasn't coming back, I looked at Schmaltz and I kind of said, he looks a little bit too small. It doesn't look like he would actually fit what we're doing. And he's tied with Eichel and Malkin at 16 points. So when you look at, you got Malkin at 16 points. Schmaltz has 7 goals and 9 assists. Eichel's at 16. Celebrini's at 15. Crosby's at 14. McKinnon, Nylander, Kaprizov all at 14. Larkin, Pasta, Kempe, Suzuki all at 13. McDavid's at 11. There's nobody blowing off nobody's blowing anything off. Marchand's at top 20. He's the only top 20 guy with 11 points. Draisaitl's got 11. Who's the next closest in Florida? Probably Greer. We don't have anybody else, and that's where I'm at 46. And Marchand's the only guy that we have in the top 50. And that's counting guys that are tied. So, again, it's a little bit early, but I don't see anybody. What did they do? Remove the Panthers? We got to have guys with more than 7 points. I must not be seeing it. Thank you, Craig. Hungry says it could have been the 17-inning game versus the Giants in 2000. That's the one you were at. Unless it was just a Cubs game. It could have just been a Cubs game. Bill says Boston is tanking passes to Florida. Zero says Hockey Guy is ranked the Devils the best team in the league right now. Interesting. Well, and he does it week by week, right? A fatality. Blackhawks been playing better, giving teams a hard time. They're getting there. They are getting there. It's a long slog, right? But you got a goalie now, and that's the difference here. 23 goals in 9 games, Chicago was allowed, so they're going to at least be, I would say, a 500 team. No, we don't really do much, Simon. We don't get a lot of people for Halloween. We're going to have a Halloween live stream. Scientist says the ultimate season plot, Mammoth versus Kraken Western Conference final. It would be a hell of a battle between the mascots. Corey, I believe Greer is on the third line tonight. I believe that's what we're going to – they moved Samoskevich into Marchand's spot. So I think then they're going to put Greer with Bennett. I believe that's what they're doing. And then Gregor with Jesus. Who's left? Oh, Gregor with Cunnin and Schwinn. So, we finally played a couple of decent games there and won a game looking like ourselves. And then the roster immediately has issues. So, Kenny says it checks out. Florida has 25 goals. Sharks have more goals and less games. San Jose can put the puck in the back of the net. There's no doubt. Now, since I did that thing where I said they should beat the Rangers 6-5, they've won 2 games by the score of 6-5. So I'm going to start my professional gambling career here this week. I think it's time. At least that way, maybe I can put some use to what comes out of my mouth. But I'm not going to sit down and try to figure it out. I'm just going to rewatch my videos, and whatever I say when I'm just rambling, that's the bet I'm going to make, instead of just sitting there thinking about it, because it never works out then. My football picks, in terms of actually picking, I've been pretty good at them. I put very little effort into that in terms of thinking about it. You know what I mean? I don't analyze it at all. I just get an idea of what I think is going to happen, and that's where I go with. Greg says, don't get caught in the gambling sting. Yeah, I was thinking about running a rigged poker game. I should probably do that. We'll get Matthias to do it. Matthias is sneaky. He comes up with some pretty good ideas. I think he could probably come up with a good way. Undead, the Avalanche can be the Avalanche are in good shape. Avalanche just got to stay healthy, make sure everybody stays good to go. And I guess at some point beat Vegas. Real says, just get Colin Campbell to help my bets. That's the Avalanche. They just got to make sure, looking at it now, I would think you're probably looking at Avalanche Knights. I know Oilers fans might think differently, but anything can happen. And the standings are starting to move, interestingly, in the direction of another possible Kings-Oilers matchup. I don't think anybody wants to see that. Honestly, if you're a Kings fan, would you rather miss the playoffs or have to play Edmonton again in the first round? Kenny says, rigged card shufflers. Matthias that way. Yeah, Matthias could figure something out that way. We were watching some of his old videos because I put a lot of that stuff in the membership. I put a lot of the old content in the members. And so some of the members have been, the old videos are coming up in their feed. And it came up on Donna's feed, so we were watching a few things yesterday. Zero says, Leafs fans are frustrated after TSN built this up to be their year. Nylander is out and Woll is back, though. I mean, but they do that every year, Zero. I've been saying it for 2 years, and I feel bad for Toronto Maple Leaf fans because they're consistently getting gaslit by their own media that this is the year, and then everybody panics when it's not. Water is wet, hungry. Real says the only team in all of sports that pissed me off more than the Kings are the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons for ruining the Dolphins tank. Yeah. Hey, Capitals. Capitals will be all right. It's a very competitive division. I don't want to concede a spot to them. I think it's just kind of depend on how Pittsburgh. If Pittsburgh is real, the Capitals are going to be, every point is going to really be important. I don't see anybody else in that division. Islanders, Flyers, Jackets, Rangers. I don't think so. Only because the competition is so tough. Now the Penguins, they're kind of surprising a lot of people. Can they continue to do that? Maybe. And the Capitals, when they play the Penguins, it's going to be very, very important for them to win those games. Goat Slayer says, watch for Stammer to get revenge tonight at home against the Bolts, especially after he's made it known that something's got to be done or greener pastures may be sought after. Interesting. Well, I mean, he chose, right? He chose the money. Now, I'm not criticizing him for that, but that's what he chose. He could have pulled a Crosby and decided to stay and see it all the way through, but that's not what he chose to do. So for him to say that, he's frustrated with how it is in Nashville. I mean, you left the team that had won 2 cups with you. Nothing personal, but I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. Oh, he says, I know Tom Wilson does raise eyebrows. Canucks fans didn't like the hit, but I always say keep your head up, simple. I am not a Tom Wilson fan at all. At all. But I actually made a video about that, and it was clean. You know what I mean? I try to keep it honest. You know what I mean? Now, why do I not like him? Because I don't like him hitting my players. Because he's a big, tough son of a bitch, and I don't like him going after my players. But as soon as he's in a Panther uniform in a couple of years, when he becomes the next veteran that is trying to get a cup at the end of his career on our 4th line, there'll be Tom Wilson jerseys in the stands with the Panthers logo. That's going to happen. But when he's on the other team, I don't like him because, if you don't keep your head up, you better know he's on the ice. Kenneth says Atlanta did the equivalent of walking back into their own end zone and kneeling. Oh, you're trying to lose. My bad. Atlanta looked just like the Dolphins had looked. That's how incompetent they looked. Vincent says it's the Radko Gudas effect. Yeah. I think I lost this week. I still don't think I'm in good shape, Simon. Gold Slayer says no sympathy either, making it known for a possible bet line since Tampa is on a 2-game win streak might be a sneaky bet play. Huh. That's interesting. But everybody's got different circumstances, so I'm not criticizing them for taking the money. We talked about that here a few weeks ago. It was a big difference in salary, so I get it, but you get what you get what you decide to get. You get what you choose. Now, of course, I suppose if he gets traded to a winning team now, right? And what's his numbers? Does Stamkos have room to does he have room to bitch and complain? You got 1 goal and 1 assist in 10 games, and you're a -4, Stammer. You got 1 goal and 1 assist in 10 games, and you're a -4. You ain't got no room to complain. Last year, he had 27 goals, 26 assists, 53 points. He was a -36. When Tampa was winning cups, +14, +4, +24. Stammer, you're on pace for 10 goals. His shot percentage is 4.5. Now, to put that into perspective, every other season of his career, he's had multiple seasons where his shot percentage has been 20, 19, 18, 17. Last year was 15.5. The year before, 15.3. His shot percentage is 4.5. So I'm sorry, but he's got no room. He got no room to be bitching. If anybody should be bitching, it should be the other guys. We pay you, Stammer. What are we doing? Holy crap. Hey, Dark Charge said, I witnessed Tom Wilson injure a lot, like shoulder collided with the head of Penguins rookie forward. Zach asked the Reese by Wilson, I hate him as a rival team. Yeah, nobody wants to play against them, right? But it would be disingenuous of me to say I wouldn't want him on my team because we got Brennan, we got Marchand. Kachuk used to hit people before his body broke down. So I take Tom Wilson. Vincent says negative, Steve. Yeah, man. Yeah, give me a fourth line in a couple of years of Bennett with Marchand and Wilson. We'll take that. Petraro, yeah, we talked about it. Kyle came in and talked about it. He watched that game. Real says, I want Wilson with Kachuk and bring Radko Gudas back while we're at it. Hey, you never know. Some of these guys, they can come at the end and win a cup, right? You just never know. Kenneth says, LOL, Stamkos has the same number of assists as Nedeljkovic, the Sharks goalie. I mean, bro, you got no room come on now. You got no room to say anything. There's a long list of Florida Panthers. I think he's got the same number of goals as Cole Schwint, Ken. He's got the same number of goals as Cole Schwint. So I don't know what he's complaining about. He was the one they paid that was supposed to be a big part of bringing them over the hump when they were good a couple of years ago. I still don't know how Bruno still has a job. But, I mean, after last year, I still don't know how he has a job. I mean, they're mid right now, 4-4-2, right? They got 10 points. I mean, in the Atlantic, they'd be tied in the playoff spot. So, I mean, they've won a couple of games. What's their goaltending situation, though? What's their situation? Oh, here, I'm already here. Come on, computer. So, jeez. So, Saros has been pretty good with a 2.68 and a 909. Justice Anunen has a 4.09 and a 8.52. So, Nashville needs a second goalie because that's going to keep them from having any chance of making the playoffs. Saros is playing just fine. 2.68 and 909. That's right on the border of where you need your goalie to be. But with Anunen's got a 4.09 and an 8.52. That's not good. That's not going to get it done. Brutality says, oh, brother, Stamkos complaining, give me a break as a Panthers fan. Yeah, he picked what he picked. You know what I mean? Yeah, Kenneth says advantage Schwint due to less ice time, right? Real says we need to get Gudas, Duclair, and Lyon rings. I thought Lyon was going to be the guy. By the way, up above, Colin says Tarasov is in net tonight. So shows you what I know. I analyzed it and thought, well, you're not going to give Bob an entire week off, right? And that's exactly what they did because he played Saturday and he's not going to play again until Saturday. Okay. I thought Bobrovsky was the guy that you want in a rhythm and he likes to play and all of that. Makes no sense how they've been handling the goalie situation with Tarasov so far. A lot of what Maurice has been doing this year just seems unusual, seems different for him. So hopefully Tarasov plays well, but now Bob's going to have a week off. Oh, okay. All right, that's cool. Vincent says, and I didn't want to trade Schwinter, did I? No, Vincent, actually, in the video where I predict the Kachuk trade, the video before that, I actually did a video about what AHL guys could possibly make the roster that year, and the guy at the top of my list was Cole Schwint. And then the next video was when I said any prospect but Lundell. So, and then they traded Schwint. So I guess I should have been more specific. So Bill, but we got him back anyway, right? So it actually worked out if you think about it, because it's like we never traded him, right? It's like we never traded him. Is Schwint related to the bike that was stolen from Pee Wee? I don't think so. We got both. We got his brother Kai as well. Hey, King Surge, what do the Hurricanes have to do to get over the hump in the playoffs? Not play the Panthers. To give a non-smart ass answer, the Panthers started winning cups with Maurice. From what I was told by other fans, from Winnipeg Jets fans especially, it certainly looks as though Maurice learned some lessons over the years with all of the failures that he had and took those lessons and applied them to changing things just a little bit in how his approach was with the Panthers in terms of wearing guys out and stuff like that and not playing young people. It certainly appears as though that he's learned some lessons and made some adjustments. I would suspect that you need the same thing from Brindamore. Like, there's only, I mean, you guys have lost what? It was 12 in a row. So that's like 15 of 16 Eastern Conference Finals games. And every year, it's the same thing. Can't score, can't score, can't score. And when you continue to get the same exact results with this different players, but the common denominator is the coach, then that sounds to me like Brindamore needs to figure out there's got to be a little bit more of a balance to where, yeah, it's great that you're only allowing 2 goals a game, but if you only score 1, it don't make any difference. I think it's on Brindamore, to be honest with you. Vincent says, I think it's a schedule thing. Now it's easy going. Tarasov's going to play a lot more in February. All right. I mean, I can understand that. There you go. Real says it. Canes need to learn how to adapt when their system gets shut down. Yeah. You look at Tampa, you look at Florida. Colorado was the same way. Vegas was kind of the same way. They can beat you, shutting you down 2-1. But if their defense is off, they can beat you 5-4 as well. And the Canes just don't have that quite, whether it's they don't have the players or Brindamore just won't let the offense loose a little bit more. So that's my take on it anyway. So Hungry says on that note, what players would I consider their leaders? Well, that's a good question. Now, obviously, Aho, Jarvis, right? Aho and Jarvis are the guys that have been around the whole time. When you look at their defense, Slavin, obviously, it's hard when you got guys, and I think Stankoven at some point is going to be a guy, just a lead by example guy. I don't know much about Taylor Hall, Gostisbehere in terms of their leadership ability. Martinook has been around. And then, of course, in goalie, right, you got Anderson, who's always kind of hurt. His numbers are okay. And then Bussy, who we lost on waivers. And Bussy's actually looked pretty good for them, 2.33 and a 9.11. So, but and Svechnikov is a guy, boy, Svechnikov has no points. Is that right? Svechnikov has no points. I'm just looking at their stats. He's played in 8 games. He's got no points, and he's a -3. Vincent says Kane's going to try for Kadri. Yeah, that's possible. Hungry says, I asked because after watching Face Off, I realized Seth Jarvis behaves like a child and he's incredibly self-deprecating. Oh, wow. Did not know that. Brutality Blood says, I just enjoy beating up on the Lightning. And is Tampa going to miss the playoffs because they don't have young players either? It's going to be up to Vasilevsky. Now, they've looked a little bit better, and I believe that Vasilevsky's probably let's see. They've won a few games. He didn't start off very well at all. But the last couple of games, he's looked better, right? So the first 3 games of the year, he allowed 4, then 5, then 3. Then after that, he's allowed 2, 3, and then 1. But the number of shots he's facing, okay, the first game he faced 33 shots, then 31 shots, then 28, then 31. Now the last 2 games they're getting better. They were down to 25 shots against Chicago and only allowed Vegas 19 shots. So Vegas came into Florida and they only got 36 shots in 2 games. So it's going to be up to Vasilevsky. How he goes is how the Lightning are going to go. Mike says Tampa will get their act together. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're that far out. You know what I mean? They could win 2 games and be in second place. So, excuse me. Real says, what would help Carolina is giving up Gustav Forsling and Eetu Luosterainen. Yeah, Adonis. Yeah, we won the Trocheck trade. That's for sure. Yeah, now Bedard's doing well. I like Celebrini. I think Celebrini might end up being better. They're both going to be really good. Vincent says it's a fair point. Canes have stalls who like a mature grandpa Viking, and then it's a drop off. Yeah. And, it's just the goals. Other than Jarvis has 7, Sebastian has 4. It's a little, Stankoven helps. They still need a little bit more. And then, it's up to Anderson to be healthy or not. Anderson, I'm surprised they went with Bussy. I wouldn't be shocked if he plays well, he plays well. But I wouldn't be shocked to see them go after a more suitable backup because they always end up playing their backup in the playoffs because Anderson's always hurt. Die hard. I got you. Donna says Slavin is overrated, but he's hurt. So we'll just see how he does. He ain't the Gus Bus in your book. Goldsinger says, if I'm building a team with a choice between the two, I'm taking Celebrini over Bedard. Better game overall, and then pair him up with Zegras for some puck nastiness. Yeah. But which team is in better shape? You know what I mean? Because Chicago got Spencer Knight. That really worked in there. That was such a win-win for both teams and a win for Spencer Knight. It was such a win for everybody involved. Panthers got exactly what they needed. Chicago got exactly what they needed. The salary was acceptable. Jones gets a cup. Knight gets a chance to be the guy. It's a really, really solid deal all the way around. Vincent says, every time I'm mad about Verhaeghe, I look around and I see what's Svechnikov and Lafreniere, and you're like, okay, yeah, exactly. Verhaeghe's he'll be all right, right? Kenneth says, for Halloween, I should do the stream as the Boston character. I'm going to move in and out. We're going to move in. What we did last year or the year before, I forget which year it was, I did a skit. I was doing the skits live, and some of it was with Kyle. And then we would take a break and we would watch scary Panthers moments. So we've kind of already done that. So I got to get a couple of ideas for what we're going to watch in addition to the skits. But we had fun with it. We had fun. I don't remember if it was last year or not. They all run together for me. And I don't know if I was in the space to do it last year after the dogs had died. I might have been. I don't remember. I remember what I had for breakfast. But the Boston character, is that roughing the voice for an hour? No. I could probably do it, but what happens with any of the voices, if I do them for any length of time, they start to become something else. So, like if I do the Boston voice and I get into it for too long, all of a sudden it'll go from sounding like Rocky to all of a sudden I'm talking like Francisco, and then it just kind of molds into that, and I end up talking like Francisco, and I don't even know it. So it might make for a good skit, though. Ruthless Shark, he says, I just want the Sharks to have a good season and stop starting slow. Not ready for the playoffs yet, but you'll get there. Eventually, there will be a Chicago versus San Jose Western Conference Finals, right? Yeah, because the Blackhawks are over there and the Knights, well, and the Sharks are over there. Yeah. So, yeah, eventually we'll have a Sharks versus Blackhawks Western Conference Final. That'll be fun. Have says, I just know we'll give the Panthers a headache, guys. Leave us alone. Give me one more, man. Just give me one more. All right? Let me have the three-peat. And then we won't even show up for like 2 years straight. We'll just sleep. You know what I mean? Let Dobish win around this year. Okay? Panthers will finish in third place. Let Dobish win around. You got your goalie of the future. Good to go. Let me get my third. And then after that, you guys can run the conference for a couple of years before we're going to need a break. We'll need a break after 4 straight trips. Well, just give me one more. Real says there was a Chicago fan on the highlights of our game with Vegas complaining about the existence of both our teams. I told them they should be grateful we gave them a goalie. That's so true, though. Mike, no, that's supposed to be Thursday with the wet weather. Right now we're 45. You got a little bit of clouds, so the sun's not out, but it's just overcast. It's really windy. So I had to close up the house and turn on the heat for a couple of minutes. We've been in the upper 30s already. It's going to be a cold winter, man. I don't even want to know what my gas and electric bill is going to be. Goldslayer says, I wasn't much of a fan of the Blackhawks growing up with the Spencer Knight trade and putting him in net. They're slowly growing on me, wanting one of their black jerseys with the big native chief head on it. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not against the Panthers, I would figure we would all be rooting for Spencer if he actually gets to a cup final, right? Vincent says, I'm sick. I don't even remember. Oh, I see. Yeah. Greg says a Halloween stream might be a good time to introduce Chicken Chuck. Yeah, we could mess around and practice with his voice a little bit. Yeah. Ghost here says we can sleep into the playoffs for the first round exit after the three-peat. Real says this was the comment. Are there two teams less interesting? A team that exists because of tax breaks and welfare payments from actual hockey markets, and a team that exists to market gambling. When JC says when the Panthers gear up to make a big move in the coming years, who do I think will be the first name to be traded? So if you're talking about from the Panthers, like in a few years, if we start moving guys, probably Verhaeghe. Probably Verhaeghe because Samoskevich will give us those goals. If you're talking about, I mean, eventually it's not going to be all the same 9 guys. Like eventually, right? The issue is going to be those no move clauses. They all have them. But I would suspect that it would be Verhaeghe because we could get that production out of Samoskevich. Greg says, yeah, Chicken Chuck is itching to get into the game. Where is he? Is he over here? Yeah, I think he's here. Oh, don't knock everything. Oh, I'm going to knock everything over. We'll get him out. I don't want to knock that pile of stuff over. I'm going to be smart. Florida's getting a cold front soon. Yeah, it's been 80, 90. That sucks. That sucks. Emperor King. I just want the Panthers to win one more cup just because people who aren't Panthers fans hate it. Hey, Dana. How you doing, Dana? Her at Panther says another player out with injury. Oh, the Panthers players. Oh, that's interesting. All right, Hura Panther. We'll let that slide since we're in such a good mood after winning 2 cups. Mike says original 6 teams think they're so important they should get 3 points for a win. All right. I'm going to get ready to roll here. I got to go finish my eBay pack and ship. I have a video scheduled to come out at 1:30. It talks about some of the things we've been talking about here today, some of the surprise teams and their goalies, and looking and seeing if their goaltending can hold up. So it's just a short 10-minute thing that comes out at 1:30. The members stream, I do a members stream for the pregame for every Panthers game 1/2 hour before puck drops. So that'll be tonight at 6:30. Puck drops at 7. Colin and I will be live for that. Recap will be up after that. And then we'll be back here tomorrow at noon. We've got a couple of new things coming here towards the end of the week. And yeah, I got a couple of interesting announcements to come here probably tomorrow. Some pretty cool things that I'm going to be switching up. And then Thursday night we'll be live doing the Dolphins. And then Friday night we're going to be live doing Halloween, goofy stuff, fun stuff. So, all right, everybody, appreciate all of the support. And I shall see you all members in about 5 hours. And the rest of you, we'll see you at 7.